We're glad to be here at Charlotte East Language Academy. And aren't we supposed to be on vacation during the summer? I'm quickly learning as CMS superintendent, vacations are few and far. Principal Concepcion, you and your team have done an exceptional job in your first year here at this brand new facility. We applaud your work and thank you for serving our students and families so very well. Charlotte East Language Academy is virtually the CMS beacon of what a school with enhanced safety and security measures look like. The beauty is that an individual would not be able to detect those measures with the naked eye, and that is key. Today, we will peel back some of those safety measures to ensure and inform our families across the district of the many efforts that they can rest assured are in place at this school and many other schools across CMS this school year. The well-being and safety of our students and staff are always top priority at Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools. We understand that parents, and I am one of them, who send their children to CMS expect our best efforts every day to keep their children safe while in our care. That's why we have deployed a variety of measures within a CMS circle of safety to help protect everyone and to keep our focus where it should be, and that is on teaching and learning. You can find details of our safety plan on our website at wearecms.com, and I believe copies are available for you this morning. We have also improved a wide variety of technologies and equipment upgrades to help us strengthen our circle of safety. Across our district, video surveillance has been improved, especially around our mobile units, playgrounds, and open areas, enabling us to monitor and respond to situations faster. We have installed digital access controls for main entries to better control who is in our buildings and minimize the risk of persons in our buildings who do not need to be there. CMS has upgraded locks, installed stronger doors, and made other physical improvements that can make a difference. Our schools are safer because of these improvements. We will shortly demonstrate another technological improvement in all of our high schools that enable us and staff to respond to call for help in times of emergency, whether they be health-related or a security incident. This system will be installed next in middle and elementary schools. I am proud to lift up the work of a visitor and volunteer safety task force that reported to the Board of Education at their last meeting. I want to thank this group of parents, experts, and staff who did the work of identifying and making recommendations for safety improvements. And that task force was led by our Chief of Staff, Laura Francisco. This is important work because we know that our volunteers, students, and staff and families should be able to trust those around them. Starting on the first day of school, we want our parents who plan to come into a school building to drop children off to be certain to bring a photo ID in to use LobbyGuard, our electronic sign-in system. The LobbyGuard system automatically checks visitors against the Sex Offenders Registry. We're asking parents to be patient. We typically have a high number of visitors at the start of school, which may result in longer than usual waits to enter the building. We will work to reduce wait times by signing in multiple sign-in stations at some schools. But please be patient with that wait. It is important that we protect all of our students. If you can't wait, please consider other ways to support your child's first day of school. Please come to open house to get your student settled and connect with his or her teacher. Consider walking your child to the school door instead of walking him or her to class. I'll have to get used to that myself. This enables our staff to focus on the students once they come into the buildings. Keeping our students safe also includes screening of all employees at CMS, to include not only teachers, but bus drivers, cafeteria workers, and custodians. I want to be clear and make sure everyone understands that all CMS employees must pass a rigorous background check. This is a non-negotiable for everyone. No one can work at CMS without this important step. As many of you are aware, fingerprinting is again included in that background check. All employees hired during the time fingerprinting was paused are required to be fingerprinted. CMS appreciates the assistance of our partners at the Mecklenburg County Sheriff's Office to support this effort. Violence is affecting our community and our schools in turn. We must all work together to keep weapons out of our schools and work especially hard to keep guns out of the reach of any student at all times. Let me be very clear. Guns should not be on or anywhere near our schools ever. As many of you know, we conducted random security screenings at 17 of our high schools during the past school year and 5 during the summer school. With the support of community faith partners as observers, these screenings were non-invasive and were very successful in sending a powerful message that weapons are not allowed in CMS schools. We will continue these screenings this coming school year and work with our own CMS Police Department and all local law enforcement agencies on these matters. I want to appeal to all families and everyone who is in the lives of children and young people to help equip them with the skills to manage conflicts without resorting to violence. Our own programs to manage conflicts will continue, and we will continue to work with the City of Charlotte's Community Relations Committee and others on these efforts. The social and emotional support of students is also important and has been recognized with support from county leaders in funding for nearly 60 additional counselors, psychologists, and social workers in our schools. And I want to thank our partners at the Board of Mecklenburg County Commissioners for their partnering with us on these important efforts. We will continue to make these kinds of investments with additional supports through our Student Support Services Department. But the bottom line is we need our students to remain vigilant. Students, if you see something that makes you feel unsafe, say something immediately to any adult in your school building. But before I close, I want to make sure that all understand an important truth. Our students and staff safety and security is dependent upon all of us. Inside the classrooms, on all of our campuses, in our homes, in our neighborhoods, safety and security is everyone's responsibility. CMS cannot do this work alone. We depend and rely on the help of our families and our entire community. As we move forward together, we can make a difference in the lives of our children and make our community safer. We have a new friend in our CMS safety screening efforts, the first of his kind in any school district in the nation to our knowledge. In just a moment, CMS PD Police Chief Lisa Mangum will introduce our furriest, friendliest edition. Also, Principal Concepcion will demonstrate some of the safety features at this school, along with the new crisis alert system, which will go into effect in all CMS high schools this school year. But first, I will entertain just a few questions that you may have. Then I will have to excuse myself to make another morning appointment. And before I do that, I want to acknowledge another school board member, Margaret Marshall, District 5, who just entered the room. No questions? All right.
Sorry, I didn't bring my hand.
So how are you talking to your daughters about
things like the mass shootings? Are they expressing any fear and wondering if they're safe at school?
They have not expressed any concerns, but as we expect all parents to have conversations with their children, the appropriate type of conversations. We don't want to instill a sense of fear, but we want to make sure that they understand the reality and to protect themselves at all times. And most importantly, if they see something that makes them feel uncomfortable, please say something to an adult in your building.
How is the district doing in fingerprinting the employees that weren't fingerprinted over the last year? I think there were 3,000, something like that. Will they be all caught up by the time school starts?
So we're making significant progress on fingerprinting those employees. We actually have fingerprinted about 1,700 of those employees. We received a huge batch of fingerprints in from the State Bureau of Investigation yesterday, and we have not had a chance to process those. So that 1,700 does not include that we received yesterday.
Do you think ultimately, whether it's sooner or later, that it eventually be going to metal detectors at the high schools, and would you be in favor of that?
What I would say in regards to that particular question is we're always assessing where we are from a safety perspective. And to the extent that we find gaps that exist, we want to look at those gaps and try to address those gaps with any new or expanded efforts.
Can you speak to anything going on at elementary schools? To my knowledge, there are no school resource officers regularly on campuses, so is there anything you can tell parents that you're doing on those campuses specifically?
Well, we always ask our staff and our parents who are on campus to be very vigilant. Certainly we have lobby guard at all of our schools, so that is a measure that we have. But I would say that we all have to be vigilant to make sure that we're keeping people off of our campus who do not belong there.
When you say you've not had an opportunity to process the fingerprints, would you elaborate on that? Does that mean that you've not had an opportunity to find out if any of the prints might match someone who shouldn't be in a school? What does that mean?
What that means is that we simply have not had a chance to go in and look at those that information. They've sent them back from the SBI to the school system. So that 1,700 number that I alluded to earlier, that number will likely increase once we add those totals. But we just haven't had a chance to, we received them yesterday and haven't had a chance to kind of look at those. But that number will increase.
I guess what I'm asking is, among those that have been printed, have you discovered any who should not have been in school?
Not that I'm aware of.
We have time for one more question.
Why are you bringing back fingerprinting?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, there was a pause with the fingerprinting, and we want to make sure that as it is a part of our board policies, we want to make sure that we're always following board policies. So we want to make sure that all employees receive fingerprinting.
Superintendent Winston, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you all very much, and I'm sure there'll be other opportunities for us to connect with each other. I look forward to seeing you all at our next media briefing, and particularly on the first day of school, August 26th. Thank you all.
Thank you, Superintendent Winston. We hope you will come back. If you feel the need to get out of your office, there's always a classroom to read a story to or teach a lesson.
I promise you I'll be back.
Sounds great. Sounds great. So thank you again and good morning. I'm happy to share with you all today some of the safety features that were installed here at Charlotte East Language Academy last school year as a pilot, which will now be operational in 25 CMS high schools this coming year, as well as here at Charlotte East. Our district has invested in a crisis alert system. This allows staff to press a button to summon help immediately. We're excited that CMS is one of the largest school districts in the nation that will be using the crisis alert system. Tampa, Florida is installing the system in more than 200 schools this school year. The system utilizes an automated notification process which sends school-wide alerts of lockdown, severe weather, and emergency medical notifications. This system utilizes a beacon light alert, which is installed in the ceiling of every classroom and common area at all CMS high schools and here at Charlotte East. If you look up at the clear hockey puck looking beacon, that's where the light comes from. This beacon sends alerts for danger inside of the school or in the area, a need for evacuation or severe weather or medical emergency. The beacon light will flash red for complete lockdown, yellow for modified lockdown, green for evacuation, and blue for weather emergency. Students and staff will hear an intercom announcement providing details and instruction, followed by a beacon flashing lights and beeps. All CMS will be issued a panic card that looks like this, and all CMS staff will be trained on its use. By pressing the card for a lockdown, a staff member can trigger the beacon system based on the type of emergency. For example, weapon found or an active shooter in the building, a teacher can trigger the system. The beacon light can also be triggered by the principal or school leadership. For example, police contact the school because of police activity in the area of the school, and the leadership can trigger it. And there is an app for this. If you see on my phone, we can also trigger the system using the app from our phone or computer. The system will not go off lockdown until someone in central office authority gives the okay. This system is designed to provide an instant alert to students in all classrooms and common areas in the event of an emergency, while automatically sending an instant message to CMS police. The staff panic card also has a tracking device. The card is registered to the user with identification, which helps to locate the person who called for the emergency. If you refer to the map on the board, you'll see that there's an indicator right there in the media center. I have alerted that there is an emergency, and the dot comes up and tells me where that emergency is happening. On my app, I can acknowledge that and close the alert. A teacher can also use the card to send an alert for assistance in the classroom. One example would be to summon the crisis team for a medical emergency to their location. Needless to say, this allows for enhanced safety measures to all CMS high schools at the start of the school year, and will be moving, as Superintendent Winston said, to middle and elementary schools in the months to come. The biggest difference and advantage to the system in that the beacon lighting system occurs immediately without having to call the front office or calling over the loudspeaker or searching for a telephone. For example, if I need to start a lockdown and I'm not in the office, I can start it from my app. And as you see, the beacons will go off and there will be an announcement. I don't need to be in the office. Okay. Now we'll turn over things to CMS Chief Lisa Mangum, who will share another safety measure that has been put into place. Thank you.
Thank you, Carmen. Good morning, everyone. It's great to share with you today that our police department and all of CMS has continued our work throughout the last school year and the summer break in providing a safe and secure learning environment for our students, our staff, and all of our employees. First, I want to remind you that Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools were the first public school system in North Carolina to establish its own police department. And we are still currently one of only 2 public school districts certified by the North Carolina Department of Justice as a criminal justice agency. Our department includes nearly 150 team members. This includes sworn police officers, campus security associates, a communications staff, and an administrative staff, most important, alarm technicians, and safe school coordinator. Our department is completely dedicated to keeping our schools safe. CMS is continuously strengthening the security and safety measures in our schools, such as our safety screenings at our high schools, and hopefully to expand those into our middle and K-8 schools this year. Our goal is always to keep weapons out of our schools by utilizing metal detection devices, bag inspections, and canine searches. And of course, first and foremost, is not to take up much class disruption. We do not want to create a distraction in class. The second part is our expansion and enhancement of our video surveillance. Our existing cameras have been upgraded to provide more accurate and effective coverage. Additional cameras have been strategically placed to ensure best coverage at all of our elementary schools, our playgrounds, and our mobile units. The video surveillance system may be visible in many areas, but there are cameras that are not detectable in place as well. And finally, our active survival training, which we established last year, the end of actually 2018. We hired a detective whose job is specifically to instruct all of our employees in the active survival training. We had a goal last year set where we would train all of our high schools, employees, and staff members, and we accomplished that goal. Actually, we went above and beyond that, and were able to instruct some of our middle schools, our K-8s, our elementaries, and many of our CMS employees at all of our different administrative sites. Active survival training will continue to evolve every school year, and we will continue to instruct the training to ensure that all of our school staff and employees have been trained. Now, one of our favorite topics when it's coming to keep our schools safe. In 2017, as you may remember, our department initiated high school, middle school, and K-8 illegal drug searches with the goals of deterring and preventing students from bringing drugs onto our campus. We introduced to you our first CMS K-9, Gage, and his handler, Detective Robin Cooper. We began utilizing Gage, who is a narcotics detection K-9, to conduct the illegal drug searches. K-9 Gage and Detective Cooper are specially trained and certified to detect and locate illegal narcotics in school classrooms and buildings. The narcotic detection K-9 program has resulted in numerous narcotic seizures, and most importantly, the perception of our students about the K-9 program has served as an effective deterrent. In January of this year, our department initiated school safety screenings in the high schools with the goals of keeping weapons out of our schools and minimizing class disruption time. We have now strengthened and increased the security and safety measures with the utilization of our gun detection K-9. Today, we want to introduce you to K-9 Nico and his handler, Detective Tim Jolly. Nico is a single-purpose trained K-9 and is trained on the odor of gunpowder, ammunition, black powder, and burnt gunpowder. K-9 Nico and Detective Tim Jolly will be deployed to conduct the school safety screenings in school classrooms and buildings for the detection of guns. The gun detection K-9 program has already resulted in a gun seizure, and we believe this will serve as a powerful deterrent. At this time, we're going to ask our K-9 handlers to come forward, and we're going to provide a demonstration of our K-9s. And they're going to give you some instructions on how this is going to occur and what we need you to do in order for us to conduct this safely. If you don't mind, can we get you to move back to the first bookcase, please? You guys can sit, the cameras. You need to move to the back. Is that okay? Right behind that. Right behind that. Yeah. You need me to show you? No, I just wasn't. Okay. And
So did someone take my phone?
So what we're pushing
Did someone take my
for
phone
is
that was sitting here?
no closer than the orange
So this will be.
So I didn't get any of our recording.
Folks that are sitting in this area will need you to step out, and if you will, behind the orange line.
I didn't get any of our recording.
Are they gonna be talking up here again?
Very briefly,
Okay.
they'll be walking to show you. All right, this is Detective Robin Cooper, and she's going to begin by explaining how they're going to carry this procedure out.
Okay, so typically what we do when we do a search is we get all the children out of the classroom, and then they leave their book bags behind, and we come in and we give commands to our dogs, and our dogs typically just search the whole room, including the book bags.
And we do the same thing when we go in looking for firearms in the classrooms. Same thing, the students are removed from the classroom, moved to another location while the safety screenings are conducted, and then we come in and do a sweep of the room for any firearms hidden in the classroom. And the way we're going to do it this morning is everybody just could stay back behind the bookcases. Usually classrooms are empty, so everybody in here is going. The dogs going to be kind of excited. So if you're afraid of dogs, let me know. The dogs are going to be they're going to be working off lead. That's where they're going to be running around the room off the leash. So if they come up to you, don't jump and scream and hoot and holler. They won't bite you. Mine will lick you to death. Engage is the same thing. Any questions before we go out and get the dogs?
Just so you know, on our safety screens, they touched on it. When we get there, we send in our supervisor of our office. What would I do without you, Renee?
They'd yell at us.
All right. Just to give you a brief explanation of how we conduct our actual screenings, we have a supervisor of our campus security associates who will go in with the principal of the school or an assistant principal, and they will introduce themselves to the classroom. Once inside the classroom, they will describe what the action is going to take place. They will describe in detail how we're going to conduct the search. They will also provide an explanation and give an opportunity for our students to declare any kind of items which they may have that they may feel is in violation of our student handbook, of our code of conduct, and or anything illegal. At that time, we will have the students leave the classroom with their teacher, and we place them in a secure area, such as a teacher's lounge, another classroom that's not being used. And then, once the classroom is empty, after they leave all of their belongings, then we send in our K-9 units, and they conduct the searches. And that's what you're going to be a part of today. We're just going to act like we've had the students leave, as we had you guys move from this area, and now our K-9s are going to come in and do their job. Yeah, I'm going to move it.
I'll sit on it.
I also have the panic card that I can pass around if you guys need tight shots. At the end, we can redo the lights if anyone missed that and needs us to do that again. So if you guys want me to hold on to this now, you want to put it yourself. And you can press it, it's not tied to the system, so it won't trigger anything if you just mess it up.
And I think it didn't mention just one, can I just say this right here? Just one thing, at no time do any of our students come in contact with our dogs at all. They see them, sometimes they see them, they have different reactions, most of them are happy, they want to touch the dog. Of course, we can't do that. We have not encountered any negative reaction to our K-9 searches whatsoever. So we feel very confident going forward this year again in carrying those searches out. Gage and Robin Cooper. Not sorry.
Good boy! That's a good boy! Good boy! Good boy! Good boy! Okay, so what we got over here is some marijuana in this book bag. And what Gage is doing is he is working for this toy right here. So when he finds drugs, he gets this toy. Good boy! Anybody got any questions? Good boy!
Yes.
And this is the narcotics dog.
This is an narcotics dog, and each dog does their own search individually. They're never together to do the search.
What was the signal that he gave you?
He sat down, he laid down. So what his response is when he's in the odor of narcotics is he sits, and since it was down on the ground, he just lay down. Anybody else got any questions?
He goes into what schools?
High school.
Just high schools?
Yeah, well, some middle school honor class right now.
Okay, and it's totally random?
Yeah.
What Robin did last year, so you know, she went to every high school, and she went to every high school multiple times. She also made several visits with middle schools or K-8s where the principals felt they wanted the dog to come in and do a search. We will do that.
Check some of the other bags because I was so quick they couldn't get a shot at me.
I'm sorry?
Would it be possible for him to maybe just start back here and check some of the bags?
We just would like some more video.
Yeah, they
That
couldn't
was
get
pretty
much shot 'cause
quick.
He went right to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was not even right to it.
Over here. Good boy! That's a good boy! Good boy, good boy, good boy. Good boy.
Yeah, you need to keep in mind that when these searches are conducted, it's Robin and the dog inside. There's no other distractions. As you know, he's very easily distracted if he has other people looking at him and so forth. But that is exactly how we carry out every search for illegal drugs.
Since 2017?
Yes. Gage is about 4 years old now. We usually purchase our dogs at the 2-year age, because that's when, of course, they still have a lot of drive and they're very trainable. He is a yellow lab.
Is there a reason that the district chose a lab versus like a German Shepherd or anything? Is it because it looks like a more friendly dog?
It does have a lot to do with it. When we first, when we decided to go this route and get the dog, we wanted absolutely to have a happy dog. I'll give you a short story on it too. He's such a happy dog that his tail, as you can tell, has been cut. It's because he's so happy, he hit it on everything, and we had to take half of it off. But it doesn't hurt him by any means, but that's how happy he is. And as you can all tell, he's a very lovable dog. Loves Robin.
I think you said the dog that's coming in next had found at least one firearm already.
Yes, sir.
Was that during summer?
Summer session.
And when was this dog put into service?
We began using Nico actually summer session.
How do you spell his name?
N-I-C-O.
And
He's a German Shepherd, and he is 2 years old, just over 2 years old. We purchased him from, he's from the Czech Republic.
Sit. Find your guns. Sit. Find your guns. Ready? Okay, check here. Here, check here. Nico. Come here. Check here. Here, come. Check here. Check here. Nico. Good boy. Check here. Check here. Nico. Check here. What is it? That a good boy. Good boy. Good job, buddy. Good job. Good job. Good job. Nico, come. Here. Good boy. Good job. Come on. Here. So you see what he found? Actually had an unloaded gun in the bag. Good boy. Come on, let's go. Nico, come. Okay, this way.
Everybody get enough of that one? Any questions for Detective Jolly?
Any for Nico?
How often is he able to do this? Like, can he do it every day,
Yeah,
or
we do
is
it
he?
every day.
Okay.
Usually, depending on the schools, so many classrooms, they get kind of tired.
Yeah.
But usually they get really excited, amped up to go search, so we have to take a break and then come back to search more rooms.
So how many can he do in a day?
They can do numerous ones during the day, just, but at one time, we try to break it down like 5 to 7 classrooms, and then take a break when we like.
Okay.
A lot of it also depends on the temperature also, so some schools, the air conditioning not working in
Right.
the summer. But yeah, they need more precautions during the day.
Can you get Nico to turn around and look at us?
Nico, here. Nico. Here.
Let's go look at you.
Here.
Sit on the
Here. Here. Here.
Can't have him slip the bag.
Sit. Have a good boy. Here, Nico, loose. Leave it. Take it here. Sit. Good boy.
I noticed that he had a particular interest in one bag over
Yep,
there.
just because it's excited. And all these bags are stored together too, so there may be a slight scent on it. So if that transfer odor, if that happened in a classroom, we would have security services come in and check those bags also.
And he went to my camera and started to work.
Explain to them how you give the commands, because that's how.
Each handler has different commands they give them. Some of them is in a different language. But then we give him the commands just to go, and when he is given the command, he knows now it's time to go to work, and he knows what he's looking for when he's searching the classrooms.
So what again can he detect?
Second.
What again can he detect?
Firearms that have been fired, gunpowder, different type of black powders, spent shell casings, so like you had a shooting scene or something. You can find the shell casing in those situations also.
Could he detect, like, if there was a gun in a bag previously, like, would it have a scent left behind?
Scent transfer, yes.
But no drugs at all.
No,
That's
he's
not
just
the-
strictly firearms.
He can set unfired bullets, like he can set.
Yeah,
bullets.
he goes off the gunpowder, and that's where he'll alert on.
The German Shepherd, or?
It's German Shepherd,
And how old is?
2 years old.
It's with a C, right? You know. You said it, and then I.
We all spelled it wrong all the time.
Thank you.
All right, come on, bud. Come on. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Well, we are going to wrap unless someone needs the beacon lights demonstrated again. All right, if you just want to position yourselves. I'm sorry.
Can we do different colors? Last time we did red, we do.
So if you guys will go ahead and focus, we're gonna go through the series of colors. So you've got your legend here, whereas you've got your red for lockdown, yellow modified. So let us know when you're ready, we'll set it off. Is everybody set? Is that BTV crew that's a little slow and get? Oh, yeah, oh, yeah. Everybody's ready?
And this is what it's going to be here?
Yeah, the clear, there's three hockey puck sizes here, there's three in the ceiling.
Thank you.
We are now in a modified lockdown. We are now in a modified lockdown.
So this will stay on until it's cleared by the administration.
Please evacuate the building. Report to your designated evacuation site. Please evacuate the building. Report to your designated evacuation site. Please evacuate the building. Report to your designated evacuation site. Please evacuate the building. Report to your designated evacuation site. Please stand by for an emergency announcement. Please stand by for an emergency announcement.
And we'll do the lockdown one more time.
Lockdown. 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 Lockdown.
Okay. But any other alerts you need to see?
To walk through the metal detectors. Our employees, our staff, we instruct them every step of the way. We haven't had any incident where anyone did not understand the instructions. It's very simple. It's just like you and I. Every time we go to the airport, you just walk through it. And that's all you do.
So are these like random classroom screenings with metal detectors?
Yes,
And it's the same kids whose bags are getting infected?
yes.
Okay.
Yes, they leave their property, the property that they have, they leave in the classroom. They go to the area where we're conducting the metal detection.
So when you say that you're going to continue using them, does that mean you're going to be randomly selecting different times that you do the security screenings to bring in metal detectors? What does that look like when you say you're using them?
Well, we will continue to do our random selection of schools and classrooms. Typically, if we do a building search, then we do every classroom within that building. And we are planning to use our portable metal detectors as our tool now to actually do the detecting instead of the wanding. Now, if you walk through a metal detector and it indicates some kind of signal that you have something on you, if we are not able to determine what it is, we'll ask them to step to the side, and then we'll use a hand wand. And then we can get better idea if there's anything that's actually illegal on them.
So just to be clear, instead of wanting this year, there will be metal detectors?
There
Or
will be both.
Both,
There will be both.
every time, at every.
Yes,
And
yes.
there was talk last year about whether it was ever going to be practical to do a large comprehensive high school and search everybody. Have you tried that, and do you intend to, or is that just way too much?
Well, we have evolved our searches to building searches, and that is we'll randomly choose a building on a site of a school. Now, we are talking about our schools that have multiple buildings within the campus. We'll choose a building and we'll do every classroom that is occupied in that building. That could be, our summer session, we did up to 15. 17 actually was our largest search.
How many portable detectors do you have?
We have 2 at this time. And remember, as I said earlier, we're always going to continue to evolve. Everything we do is going to continuously be updated with the newest and the best equipment.
So the portable detectors, are they only used for the random screenings, not at the entrance of the school, right?
That's correct.
Okay. And could you share your thoughts about having the first K-9 with the capabilities that Nico has?
Well, I think it's amazing. I think, we were fortunate enough to get the support from our administration to go forward with this. I think a lot of that had to do also with the success that we have with K-9 Gage and Detective Cooper. We've shown that we've been successful doing narcotic searches, and I think that based on the incidents that we've had in our school system the past few years, we felt it was necessary that we go take ourselves to another level, which is conduct these searches within the schools. And our best way to do that, time-consuming, is with the K-9. You saw how quickly, ma'am.
How much does it cost to get a gun K-9?
If they gave me that checkbook or debit card, I'd let you know. But they hadn't done that.
Can you speak at all to, there might be no truth to this, but I've spoken with people in the community who say kids stash guns outside of school, and then they know where to find them when they get out, or that way it's not on your radar, but something could still happen on campus. Is there anything that you're doing to prevent that from happening at all?
Yeah, I think it goes back to see something, say something. I think that actually is our best weapon in the fight against drugs, guns, etc., anything illegal on our campus. We depend on our kids to tell us, and they do tell us. They have someone in their schools that they trust and that they make contact with. That's probably half of our firearms that we recovered this past year. That's how we recovered those firearms, because kids saw it, they went and told their school resource officer, or they went and told their teacher, and then we go and investigate it and we find those firearms.
I went to another local school district that was considering this crisis alert system and having each teacher have one of these cards, but they were concerned that there would be too many false activations of it. If a teacher put it down and something inadvertently hit it. Is there anything that you can do to prevent the false notifications? Are you concerned that there's going to be false notifications that are happening with the system?
Well, first of all, they're not going to be putting them down. They're going to be wearing them. They're going to have those badges attached to the lanyard like you see so many of our employees that I don't have. But you wear it around your neck. That way it's easily accessible. You're not going to lose it. There are different methods also in the usage of these badge cards that indicate that when you push that badge, you're going to know that it's real. The person pushing it, you could not mistake what you're doing. Well, I guess you could, but I don't think you will. They're going to get the proper training. They're going to be given all the information on how to activate it. And we will, when one is activated, immediately people are going to go to that location to provide support. So if it is a false alarm, we'll be notified quickly.
Can you also speak to just deactivating it one more time? How simple is that process? I mean, could someone easily just say, we're going to deactivate this? I mean, if someone was in our schools and it was a threat. I mean, would it be an easy process for someone to just deactivate it the same way that you activate it?
No.
Can you just speak to deactivating?
Well, you have to have, because it has to be personally checked. If someone pushes that button, we're not going to pick up the phone and just say, hey, are you okay? Someone is going to go and make personal contact with whoever mashes that button. It would be if Ann mashed the button, I'm going to go to where that dot tells me she is. And I'm going to find Ann and determine if it's true or not.
When you say someone in central office has to approve turning it off, does that mean someone in central office like physically is the one turning it off, or that they make the call and then someone at the school site can turn off?
Either or. But only certain people can make that call. Only certain people are allowed those privileges.
And we've got time for maybe one more question, and then we're gonna let you guys get to your real work.
So you guys believe Nico is the first school system gun sniffing dog in the country?
Gun detection, canine. Yes, sir. We believe so.
Which you all launched this past summer session, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. It was actually our first search using Nico during the summer session where he actually recovered a firearm.
Thank you all so much. We'll appreciate you, and we will see you next Wednesday. We'll give you time, place, and location, so appreciate you. Our best information that you all can help us with in getting parents to understand, first day of school is going to be really busy, so for parents that want to bring children inside, they really need to have ID, picture ID, and be very patient.
How does that apply to the school where you may have a large
Maybe.
So the teacher alert, right? So if I have a medical emergency in my classroom, the teacher's going to be pressing this. Sure. Yeah, there's a medical emergency or just a classroom need. The super users, which are like Chief Mangum and the school safety, they will not get the alert of a teacher. They will get the alert of a lockdown, modified, evacuation.
So different levels.
Different levels, right. Correct. However, the principal cannot clear a lockdown. The only people that can clear a lockdown are those with elevated privileges, such
Hold on 1 minute. He does.
My dad was retired. If I'm a principal and I'm not at my desktop through the app, I can actually click on it and screenshot